Copper Beard just resubscribed for 3 months.
Good morning.
The Hugo Dahl just resubscribed for 6 months.
Thanks so much for those resubs. My name is Jeff Fritz. Welcome back to my stream. Oh my gosh, it is great to see everybody. It has been a few days. We're back on Tuesday mornings. It was a long weekend. Hello, Mordecai. Good to see you. My gosh. I feel like we've not started properly. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. Welcome back. My name is Jeff Fritz, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. You like the hat? You like the Cobra Kai hat? How about that? How about it? You like the hat? Brand new. I grabbed a couple hats this weekend. You already saw I had the Atari hat over the weekend. I've got one more new hat that will break out on Thursday. It'll be fun. And I was getting our hats made for all of our generous friends who helped donate to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Those will be shipping out here in the next day or two. Took a little bit longer to make them than I thought they would, but I'm pretty pleased with the results. Really looking forward to that. Let me get some music playing in the background here, and let's talk about today's project. So, of course, I play music to code by here. This is music that was written by our friend Mr. Carl Franklin. Scientifically designed. It's engineered to get you in the groove, to get you focused on whatever task it might be that you're working on. And I think I'm going to go with yellow today for the yellow hat. There we go. This song and other songs like it are available for you if you go to mtcb.pwop.com. There we go. And oh my gosh, the bot got the question right. There it is. You can purchase all the music. I believe it's $35, $40, and you can get 19 tracks. 19 tracks, 25 minutes long. They're as long as a Pomodoro. Start playing the song. Focus on whatever task it might be that you're working on. When it's done, take a break. Relax. 5 minutes, go get yourself something to drink. Go to the men's room, whatever the case might be, and then get back to it with your next Pomodoro. Check it out, music to code, mtcb.pwop.com or musictoflowby.com. You've already done 3 Pomodoros today. Holy crow. Look at the productivity of this early dev. They're not to be trifled with. All right. So, my gosh, good morning chat room. So many folks here already. Wow. Let me get the mouse over here so we can see everybody. My gosh. Besides Copper, Beardy, and Hugo, thanks so much for those subs. We'll, of course, make donations to veterans who code.
I'm not myself just resubscribed for 5 months.
There we go. Thanks so much for that resub. And we'll make another donation to veterans who code. My gosh. Iota is here. Hey, Iota. Good to see you. One of our friends from the PH16 community. Yeah, late. You're 2 minutes late. Oh, my gosh. So late. I was later than you were. Douglas Menke Design is here. Hello. We were hanging with Douglas last night on Junie Von Esch's channel. Let's see here. Welsh Ronaldo. Hello. Surly Dev, of course. Landon BR. Lewis Hendricks. Good morning. So good to see you. Adam TT. Fritzbot, yeah, they got it. Can you believe it? Looking down here. Hello from Brazil, from T. Bertuzzi. Good morning to our friends in South America, in Brazil. Great to see you. Project Zero to Hero. Sounds like the title of a session that I've given about Twitch engagement. Very cool to see you. 19 tracks for $30 to $40. Yeah, that is darn near free. You're right. That's pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive when you consider it's what $2 to $5 for a song on iTunes. Really good stuff that'll make you productive. Quality Coder is here. Hello. Thank you for the host, Iota. Smab. So we're gonna get into the project today. We're working with Blazor. And we're going to do some authentication work with that. And of course, it's May. In May, we work on a Mac. We're going to be doing all of our .NET development using a Mac. Today, we'll be on Visual Studio Code. And if I remember my calendar correctly, Thursday, we're going to have some folks from the Visual Studio for Mac team joining us. Just need to confirm that a little bit later today. It'll be, if we can get them to join us, it'll be tremendous. Trying to decide if you'll see Fritz dye his beard rainbow before your rainbow chrysanthemums flower. So let's go over to that. Where'd it go? This one. We're going over to that button. There we go. If we can get to 8,000 followers before September 15th, I will dye the beard rainbow for TwitchCon and for .NET Conf. It's the same week. We'll just keep it rainbow for the entire week. It'll be tremendous, but we need to get to 8,000 followers. Following is simple. Just touch that heart button right above the Twitch video here. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets. Go create a Twitch account. Click through, follow us. You can chat in the chat room and have a good time with us whenever we're writing code, and you'll even get notifications when we go live, just in case I decide to pop open Twitch one afternoon and start writing some code with you. Lannon asks, am I going to get one of those Stream Deck XL? So for those of you that haven't seen, our friends at Elgato, right, it's elgato.com, just released an update to their Stream Deck. The Stream Deck, of course, is the tool that I use to control and manage how the stream runs here. They released 2 new versions of it. Can I go back? I want to go back. I want the other one. This one. The ones that I have are 15 buttons. There we go. They look like that. They just released one that has 32 buttons. Are you kidding me? 32 buttons. Yeah, Ric Flair. What does the device do exactly? I haven't beaten anybody up yet, Fierce Kittens. We'll come back to you in just a second. Hang on. The Stream Deck has a series of these programmable buttons that you can set whatever image you want on them, but you can have it fire all kinds of macros. We've done development for the Stream Deck here on stream. But it'll let you automate OBS, it'll let you play music, it'll let you play sound effects.
Oh my.
Wow.
At the touch of a button.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Okay. I control Spotify, I control all my scenes, I automate Twitter, I automate Twitch. All of these things I automate at the touch of a button, and we've built all kinds of neat tools so that you can also interact with development things as well. So you can send text into an application, you can launch applications, fire hotkeys, all kinds of great stuff, and you can chain them together. So you build a macro that'll do a half a dozen different things. I've got some blog posts on my blog at jeffreyfritz.com where you can learn more about how I've done things to put together the start and stop of the stream and launching all the apps so that everything's prepared and I don't have to think when I sit down and start running the stream. It's really, really cool. Easy to do, and it's you don't have to think too hard about these things. You drag and drop, configure a couple application fields, and it just works. 32 buttons is a lot, and I actually have 3 Stream Decks here in front of me because I have one that has sound effects, I have one that has all the camera angles and turn on and off microphones and start and stop the stream, and another one that has more sound effects because I need more sound effects. You always need more sound effects.
Do it!
Yes, I'm going to do it. So, would it be great for a non-streamer? Absolutely. I think it is. It's definitely a premium product. My friend, I think he's a friend. We've had some good conversations on Twitter. Harris Heller, you know him. He's your stream doctor on YouTube. He's done some really neat things where he's shown how to automate all kinds of stuff with the Stream Deck. I agree with him that it is a premium product. Don't go out and drop $150 on a device like this until you get the basics down. But it's really great stuff. The buttons are screens. It's actually one big screen underneath, and the buttons are just isolated parts of the screen, but they are individual screens that animate. Let me see here if I can show you. This is my Stream Deck Mini. I'll go back to the main screen. Let's see if I can hold this up so you can see it. See, I've got, oh no, I've got, things are a little bit tricky here with all the cables because I'm running 2 keyboards, 2 mices. 2 mices? Yeah, I guess that's a thing. Let me see here. Come on. I'll put this into studio mode by accident. There we go. So there's my Stream Deck Mini, and you can see there's a CPU indicator down there. It's animating. You see it down there? 37%, 45, 43%. Okay? These are animated buttons. These are live screens on the device. Now, the Stream Deck Mini has 6 buttons. The regular Stream Deck has 15. The XL has 32. 32! So that's kind of a thing. It's mighty impressive. If you're serious about streaming, you get past that first level of commitment that yes, you want to do it, and you've got the basics down, I totally recommend having one of these devices. But 32 is a lot of buttons. Never mind, I've got 45 sitting here in front of me. No, 51 buttons in front of me. That's okay. But you can also get it for your right. The new one, the other one they just showed here, is actually no. I don't want to say that. Come on now. And Elgato, you do realize I'm effectively giving you a commercial here, right? I've applied to be an Elgato partner a couple times and I've been declined. But there is also, you can run it on your phone for a couple bucks a month as well. Nice and cheap. You don't have to drop $100 and some bucks to get started. It is pretty tiny. Nah, it's a little bit bigger than a deck of cards. The Stream Deck with 6 buttons is smaller than a deck of cards. The 15 is a little bit bigger than a deck of cards. It's not bad. You use mine for video editing. That's a great idea. Yeah. Let me look down here. So, Fierce Kittens. I don't know if I'm getting one, Rambling Geek. Don't know. Fierce Kittens was here and was asking me if I've beaten anybody up yet. She's stuck in her conversion of GIFbot to .NET Core, and we're trying to get her a little bit of help. So the West Coast isn't even awake yet. They're still getting started here. Carrie Payette, is she here? I see some folks mentioning her. Let's see. At what point do these just become keyboards? Almost. We're almost there. 32 is too many buttons on one device, but 51 across 4 is... Stream Deck SDK is just WebSockets, absolutely. It's and we've built a .NET Core framework that will interact with that directly. It's really neat stuff. West Coast is the best coast. You know what? As an East Coast person, I'm okay with the East Coast. My problem with the West Coast is actually, it just takes me too long to get there right now. I like a little variety in my weather also. You know what I'm saying? It was weird being in Las Vegas and it was actually warmer here in Philadelphia. Warmer than it was in Las Vegas last week. You really want one, Surly Dev? Well, go get one. They have them all on Amazon. They're really great. The problem with the West Coast is that it's too far away. Well, there's a little bit of that. Steel Battalion controllers for their sounds and scene. Oh my gosh. Lurk mode on. All right. All right. I want to talk about our project. The project we've been working on. I'm going to go over here, scroll down, and I'm going to open not that version of it, but this one. And let's head over to the code editing scene. There we go. All right. This is the resource management project, and I'll update that project tag in chat in just a second. What we're doing here is we're building a volunteer scheduling and management application for a nonprofit organization for a equine therapy ranch called Sebastian Riding Associates. There's a link to it here in the project, but I've just generically called this resource management. Not even Fritz resource management, just resource management is the name of the repository. The idea here is at some point, and because I'm building this so generically, we'll be able to have folks pull this down and use it for managing other organizations. And we'll hook up to all kinds of services so that we can automate and do all kinds of neat stuff around scheduling. Maybe even for IoT July. See what I did there? We'll build like a mirror that they can display the schedule on, that kind of thing. It'll be really neat here. But we need to get past the basics. We need to get past storing schedules, logging in and creating and managing our schedule, and then, I did it.
And then?
Finding the intersection between those. How do I schedule a class and find volunteers as well as trainers to come together and support and provide the education in that class? So that third piece of actually scheduling, here's a class and here's my requirements. I need 2 volunteers and I need a trainer for the class or an instructor for the class. That's another piece that we need to figure out. But we're going to start with just having folks log in.
NU 235 just resubscribed for 3 months.
Thanks so much for that resub. 3 months, that's going to put you into a red hat, and we'll make another donation to Veterans Who Code this quarter. Very cool stuff. Yes. So, Frank, we talked about this project about Christmas time, about December, and we ran into, well, I've wanted to finish the previous project I was working on, and we got somewhere with that. Then the Stream Deck's not source control, but the development kit was released, and I got so excited about that. We started using that for a little bit here. Let me see if I can just clean up that. Ah, come on. Oh, I'm on the wrong keyboard, that's why. See if we can move me over just a smidge. There we go. All right. So we wanted to clean up, and then the Stream Deck thing happened, and we got really distracted and away from this. I realized that we were doing so much work on things that were kind of meta to the stream that we didn't have any realistic projects we were working on. Things that folks would take away and be able to use and say, oh my gosh, that's something that I would use at my place of business, something that I can relate to. So that's why we've come back to this, and we're taking a look at something that is very relatable. Folks have applications that have schedules, and they want to be able to do this kind of math around projects here. The bot doesn't know what I'm working on. No, I need to execute the project command and load it up. So let's put a project out there. So let's see. Project. We're going to build authentication for the resource management project. There we go. All right, so we're going to build some authentication into this. Now, here's the thing that's going to make this interesting. We're working on a Mac, so I don't have some of the cool authentication templates available to me from Visual Studio 2019. And we're also working with Blazor. And Blazor makes things a little bit different because now we're working, even though I'm using server-side Blazor, it throws our interaction with the client a little bit different. So, do you need to use a preview version with Visual Studio 2019? If you want to get the templates and if you want to get the tooling, yes. You don't need to. I highly recommend using the Visual Studio 2019 preview. You should see Blazor server side ready for the .NET Core 3 release, and that'll come with .NET Conf at the end of September. And we'll see an RC for that in the July timeframe, was the last announcement around those schedules from our good friend Mr. Scott Hunter at Build. And we even had a video that we did together with Scott at Build talking about Blazor and some of the cool things going on there. I trimmed that right side of my video. Yes, him, Scott. Absolutely, Stelzy. Woo. Thank you. Got my attention. I'm going to open that up just a little bit because I think it's cut my arm off too much. There we go. And now, see, I'm going to end up futzing with this because I've got that yellow in my hat. Right? I want to... I think that's better. Zultra Lord.
Zultra Lord just resubscribed for 4 months. You're awesome, Fritz.
Oh, thank you so much. Look at that. I even got stream elements fixed. Ha ha! Ooh. All right. So let's take a look here. There's a pull request that was submitted to my repository. Add more unit tests around the schedule manager to increase code coverage. Oh man, look at this. And this is from, is that Santosh Rajar? No. Santosh Raj. Okay. Well, let's take a look at what we have here. Always great to have more unit tests. The schedule manager is a class that will look at our schedule in the project and expand things out. Take what's stored as either a cron tab entry for a repeated schedule item or just schedule items. Those are one-off things like, oh, I've got a doctor's appointment on Thursday. I've got to be at the dentist, whatever time. I've got to get a haircut on Friday. These types of things, right? One off, and combine those so that we have a full list of start and end times when things happen. I Am Not Myself says you basically need to implement a spa-like authentication system. Yes, that's where we're going to end up getting to. Yes. Let's see what Santosh has for us here, right? Let me make sure. Yeah. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing that. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm happy to correct. Add more unit tests. So we have one commit with 2 files. Let's take a look-see here. Okay. So scenario 3, handle cases where dates are equal. Refactored scenarios 4, 5, and 6 according to that. Okay. So there's these scenarios in the schedule manager, right? That I had expanded. Let me actually open up the file here so you can see it. Right? Will that take me there? No. I want to open that file. View file. There it is. So I created this little diagram. If my schedule is this block, these are the scenarios that I want to test. Well, what happens if the time you're comparing against is here, or if it's over there? Well, I don't really care about that intersection. If it completely overlaps, well, I only want this amount of time. And if this completely overlaps in scenario 4, I only want that. And then there's, there's the, if it starts before but ends before it, or if it starts after and ends after. We have these intersections. So how do we calculate the intersection of all of those times? So what Santosh has for us here is just changed up the less than equals and greater than equals because it looks like I got a little greedy with them. Yeah. And improved our unit tests to make sure that it handles that appropriately. That's pretty cool stuff. I really like it. I'm going to accept this over here. Thank you for catching that and submitting the pull request. Much appreciated. We'll merge. Hey, Svava's here. What mischief? What mischief? I'm looking for an appropriate one here.
Do it live!
We're doing it all live here. All of it. And we'll submit that comment. All right. Looks good. That's fantastic. Let me just double check, make sure. That pull request went into which branch? Because I didn't look. Into dev. Good. Good. All right, so I have a development branch that I'm working on locally here. Let me jump over to my terminal. See, that's how you know I'm in a Mac, right? Because I can do this. Right?
Do it!
All right, fine, I'll do it again. Now I know you can do that on Windows also, but nobody does it on Windows. All right. Let's see here. So I believe I'm still on the dev branch. Yep. So let's pull in those changes. Cool. And you know what? I'm just going to run .NET. Let's go over to test scheduling, and I'm going to run those tests right now to make sure that everything works. Yep. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Come on. Run. There we go. And I got all my logging. 9 tests passed. Good job. We're happy about that. And there was much rejoicing. I'm going to make sure that this always runs properly. I'm going to put a .NET watch test in here so that it's just running and hanging out in the background and do its thing. Your name is nobody. Okay. If that makes you happy, more power to you. I have tropical rain today is the flavor that I've been drinking. Not bad. Not bad, if I do say so myself. So let's open another terminal because I can. Yeah, new window, and I like the Pro. Thank you. I could do this with Tmux, but it's just easier to open another terminal. So I want to go into dev resource management. What? Oh. Yep. All right. And from over here, I want to create a new branch to set me aside for building this authentication piece because it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit of work. We've already got the stuff built and available so that I can interact with Postgres. We're going to use Postgres as our database, but I want to be able to store users along with my schedule information. So I'm going to start to allocate space for that, and I want to isolate it so I don't completely break things, and I can refactor it down to just one commit when I'm done everything. Wouldn't tropical rain just taste like water? Steve, I see what you did there. You'd think, right? But it's that tropical fruit flavor, and they didn't call it tropical fruit. They called it tropical rain. Good morning, Sinclairinator. Good to see you. Sinclairinator was one of the Build developer MCs at Microsoft Build. Good to see you. And congratulations, speaking at your first major conference coming up. That is phenomenal. You're buzzing. Yes, SignalR Blazor. That's where we're going to get into here. So I'm gonna create a new branch here, and I will call this Feature Authentication, because this is a little bit different than just normal authentication that we're going to be doing here. I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. I like to use Visual Studio Code for editing here on the Mac. A lot of folks like Visual Studio Code, so let's use this. And we'll come back and use Visual Studio for Mac on another day when some of our Visual Studio for Mac friends are here with us. All right, let's see what we got here. Water with bugs in it. Ooh, no, don't want that. Some projects have trouble loading. Does it ever not say this in Visual Studio Code? I mean, does anybody ever open a project and this doesn't appear? I mean, honestly, manage extension. I go away. No, I can't turn it off. It just always says this, no matter what I do here. Right? Yeah, I can't make it go away. It's just forever going to appear there. That makes me feel good. You cannot for the life of me get Visual Studio Code on Mac to even see the .NET CLI tools. Oh no, I've got that working. Oh yeah. So, pretty excited about it, thank you. Not a problem. Using your MacBook Pro more, so this is good to see how I use it. Well, I'm not on a MacBook Pro. I'm on a MacBook Air. Close enough. All right, so I'm not going to be in my test scheduling project down here, and I'm not going to be in the domain. But I am going to start working over here in the web project. And we've already got some migrations built for interacting with the person types, the person object, the schedules. So those are available. And we even built a many-to-many relationship between persons and their person types. So that's built. The output is need to restore packages, but they're always restored. I know, Hugo. I know. Which feels like it feels bass-ackwards. All right. Let me see. I need to click off of that. That looks better. All right. And good. So let's take a look. I feel like I need to get Postgres started in the background here. Because we're going to start writing to that database. We're going to start building that out more and more as we go along here. Why isn't it? There it is. So I had done some tinkering on Windows. I know, on Windows, right? How dare I get over to Windows?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
No, it's okay. We're an equal opportunity offender here. So I want to, the dog is really unhappy. Usually happens when the landscaping folks come around this time of year. I want to set up and launch that Docker container. So I'm going to Docker run. We're going to have it run in the background. We're going to specify the port is 5432 so that we can access it. 5432. We're going to give it a name, right? Like this. I'm just going to call it PG. I need to give it an environment variable for Postgres password. And we're going to say that is the ever secret password. Don't tell anyone. If I check over here, yep, there it is. And I need to tell it that we're launching the Postgres container. Oh, it's already in use. Look at that. It's already running. Let's see. You think Visual Studio 2019 decided to give you a notice and check? Really? Let's see here. Let's take a quick look-see. Docker, show me all of them. Yeah, there it is. See, it exited. It's down. So let's get rid of that. 3.5. Goodbye. Restart that. All right, now I've got a container there that I can connect into, and I can execute, build out the various objects that we're going to use here for authentication. Might be Lithuanian. Okay. So awesome to see more people using Docker for development purposes. Joined a team that took 3 days to get their development environment set up for a new member. Ouch. Reduce that to a couple hours using Docker. Nice. Using VSTS. So DevOps, Azure DevOps significantly helps with that as well. Hey, Ancient Coder, good to see you. So let's start. I'm not going to look at the migrations here, but I want to start adding into this models area over here. And isn't there a thing for adding a new, right? A new C# file? Yeah, see? No, I don't have those templates installed. Makes me feel bad. So I'm going to, I feel like I'm, SMDS. Hello, good to see you. You can't use identity directly with Blazor. There's a weird thing that happens there, managing cookies and going back and forth, that it just doesn't handle properly. I was doing a little bit of research on this, and Michael Washington has, I believe this is the article. Yeah, here we go. Has this article about Blazor cookie authentication. And what they talk about here is how to set up authentication, a little login, logout button, so that you can get server-side Blazor. He connects to it with client-side Blazor to do the interaction so that you can log in and log out. But he's not using identity completely. All right, so we're gonna walk through this. I really feel like I need to figure out what that dog is upset about because she just will not shut up. Yeah. Stand by, folks. I gotta go see what's going on here. Give me 1 second. Of course. Yep. There's a delivery and a landscaper out there, and she's just having no part of it whatsoever. You're here for the cooking stream, says Latte Mote. Hey, Latte. Let me tell you. Folks on stream here for a while, you've seen I've been struggling. Thanks so much, DBC, for the follow. I've been struggling with some of the stream elements configuration, and some of our text-to-speech wasn't always working. Turns out there was a variation that was configured in my profile. I didn't know these were configured, and it didn't have text-to-speech turned on. Like, what? I didn't know this thing was here. Hates the mail carrier also. Anybody comes near the house, look out. Look out! She is all over it. Thank you for the link there, Sinclair Nader. So, this is, if you put together your own interactions and you want to manage cookies yourself, this is kind of the way that folks used to do it before the identity package was completely available. But we're going to wire this up so that we can get the interaction running through, oh my gosh, Frankberg.
Frankberg just resubscribed for 4 months. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for the resub. And we'll make another donation to Veterans Who Code. So, you are our dream stream. If you have a problem, you solve it. Yeah, we figured it out. I went digging in there. I'm like, there's got to be something wrong here. And I figured it out. So Michael he's taken the base instructions, and our friend Barry Dorans had this in a workshop that he used to give. Here's the bare bones, simplest way that you can configure authentication. And Michael's adopted those, it looks like, and made it work with Blazor. Because the identity packages don't work with Blazor yet. The authentication capabilities that are on the screens just don't light it up for you. You can't use it yet because, it's, like I said, it's a little bit different. You have to jump through an extra couple hoops here. So what I thought we would do here today is go through these steps. Let's light up authentication so we can get a login happening, so we have users in our database. Once we have users in our database, we can make the user a person, and I want to make sure that that's clear. A user isn't always a person. That sounds weird, but for the purposes of the application, you might have folks who can log in that are users, but not necessarily a person who can be scheduled. Okay, so there's a 0-to-1 relationship, I believe, between users and persons. But when a user declares, yes, I am a person, here's all my stuff, I do work at the facility and I do participate, then we can light up a schedule for them and start building those credentials. And that's where I'm going. All right. My voice sounds low. Does my voice sound low there, friends? So Skynet can use an API. Yes. And schedule those folks. Sounds fine. Tell you what, I can bump this up just a little bit. I'm going to give it just a smidge. How's that? Usually want my voice about twice to 2.5 times louder than the background music. Sounds good? All right. Volume's fine in the UK. And if you can hear me in the UK and you can hear me in Brazil. Just kidding. Lewis Hendrick says we should see Blazor authentication in the templates in Preview 6. Fantastic. I'm not in Preview 6 yet. We're only in Preview 5. Anyways. Carrie Payette's here. Hello, Carrie. She can make it better. She can make it stronger. Oh, and I installed a bunch of new sound effects last night at the behest of our friend Junie Von Esch. Let me see here. Some new movie clips. So you've heard. And Mike Eaton is here as well. So, glad to hear it. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Is that a Yoda? Is that a Yoda, Hunzi? Let me know. Sometimes you hear tech folks on streams. We like to use our acronyms a bit. So Junie thought this was an appropriate acronym that we should acronym clip when we get a little bit carried away with some of these.
Seeing as how the VP is such a VIP, shouldn't we keep the PC on the QT? Because if it leaks to the VC, you can end up an MIA, and then we'd all be put on KP.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a lot of acronyms. So, and when we're going so fast, we're of course...
They've gone to plaid.
Go plaid. We're going to go plaid. That was Good Morning Vietnam. That's right. Not in FK stream. Nope. That was Surly Dev, yes. So we've been plenty distracted.
Squirrel.
Time to get back to it, okay? Yes. Don't freak out. So, we're going to start to add some of these authentication capabilities into our project. So, what Michael suggests we do is he actually puts all of his authentication into a back-end project that he calls, I think he calls it Blazor Cookie Auth is what he calls his project. We're running a server-side application already, so I'm just going to put all these things into one project. You love the surprise squirrel. Oh, yeah. Is that on a 32-button Stream Deck? No. Didn't get one of those. Some of the Elgato ambassadors all got Stream Decks, 32-button Stream Decks sent to them last week is what I'm learning. I am not one of them. I just help build stuff to make it happen. You know what I mean? All right. So we're going to go through this. Yes. The NuGet packages that he suggests to add are authorization, HTTP, and identity. They should already be there by nature of us using the ASP.NET Core app project. So I'm not going to add these directly because I think they're there. If we run into an issue where it doesn't have these or a reference is missing, I'm going to come back to this. But I'm just going to mark that, come back to it in the back of my head. I'm going to log it for later.
One rolls downstairs, owner and pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog. It's great for a snack, it fits on your back. It's long. It's long. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
Okay, that's enough of that. All right, so in the startup class, we're going to start to add some using statements here. Yeah, we're going to generate those things because we're an elite programmer. After the remaining, add the remaining code where it says Blazor Cookie Auth code. So here in Configure Services, what Michael is doing is he's configuring the cookie policy options. If you use the ASP.NET Core Identity plugin, it does all this behind the scenes for you. But we're going to add these by hand because we need to hand wire up some of these things to make it work. Yeah, I know, it's log. Right, Sinclair Nader? It's so fun. Oh my gosh.
What's that?
It's log, that's what it is.
What's that?
No, it was the log. We were... never mind. We're going to log that information for later and remember it, okay?
Do it live!
I did. All right, so let's configure the cookie policy options. I'm going to actually copy this area right down to add cookie here for add MVC because it's a little bit different now in ASP.NET 3. I'm going to copy that into startup and then... Oh, I said it.
And then
We'll figure out how to fix it. All right, so we're going to go down here. This is in Configure Services. I'm just going to drop it right in here, and we'll figure out what's broken. Archie, thanks so much for the follow. Why'd you do that? Not you, Archie, I'm sorry. But it put extra lines in there that I wasn't expecting. That's different. So now you're doing professional copy-paste. Yes. No. All right, services configure cookie policy options. Okay. We do want that. Check consent needed. Yep. Minimum site policy, same site mode, none. Actually, I do want it on the same site policy. It was important. It was important for Michael's project because he had two different applications. I do want to make sure that you stay on the same site for the cookie. I don't want to send it anywhere else. Check consent needed. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to do that. Which means that I need the cookie consent banner. Can I tell you how much I don't like the cookie consent banners? Right? I mean, great. We want GDPR. We want data privacy.
And you blew it!
And now we get these stupid banners that block us from accessing any website as soon as you click to any website. You haven't been to this website before. You need to approve that we're looking at you and that we're logging data about you before you can look at this website. Doesn't matter what you're looking for. Yeah, that's groovy. Thanks so much. JetBrains do an awesome cookie warning message. Do they? What do they do on the JetBrains website? What do they do when we get there? JetBrains. Come on.
And then?
Where is it? Oh, look at that. That's first off, that's really small. Neat. That's fun. What's it look like on a phone? Yeah. Oh, you're not logged into your account because we don't let you stay logged in, so confirm your GDPR again. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Why won't you let me access the website? That's annoying. Anyways, I get what they're trying to do. I understand why they did it. It doesn't make it any easier to just quickly navigate the web. I get it. All right, set compatibility version. I don't need that. We are going to add authentication, and we do need to add cookies. But we do need the cookie authentication defaults here. No, wrong button. Yeah. Give me that. Sure, but I want the using statement. And yes, let's use the discard. All right. So now we have authentication configured, and it will use cookies. The discard here, by doing this _equals, tells it, don't worry about storing or even remembering anything about this. Discard it immediately. I don't need to allocate memory for what's being returned from these methods. So, because I'm untrustworthy. I'm American. I must be untrustworthy.
And you blew it!
And we blew it. Everybody has access to do everything. And now we're blowing up the internet. Is multi-factor an available option? Asks WQ Walter. It is with the default templates. And there are ways to set that up. We'll figure that out later as the preview becomes... As Blazor matures, we'll end up replacing some of this with exactly those types of things. Which actually... Because I'm putting in some code here that we're going to stub out, we're going to remove as Blazor matures. Part of me thinks that we should put this into another class file so that we can just delegate over to that class file. When things mature, as Blazor matures, we can update that class file with the calls appropriately and eventually delete the class file. That way we're not constantly touching the startup class. I like that a lot. Or a separate part of a partial class. Right. Not bad at all. I do like that separating concerns. Mind blown? No. Shocking is what it is. Alright, so let's do that. Let's just create another class here. Another file. We'll come up here. Click this. And let's call this Blazor Startup. Just so we have someplace to stash things that are specific to Blazor that we know are going to mature and eventually go away, right? So we'll do something like that. Public class, that's not how you spell class. Blazor Startup. I'm not even going to give it the ability to be created here. All right, I'm not going to create anything. I think we're going to just put in some static methods here. A simple class to provide features needed as the Blazor framework evolves. Okay. Let's make this a static class. All right. So let's put in here public static void configure services authentication. Okay. And I'm actually going to grab I just need the iService collection there. So we will put iService collection services, and I will move out that to here. So configure service authentication from Blazor Startup. So now right in here, I should be able to say Blazor Startup configure service authentication services. So now as that changes, as that evolves, we'll just do it all over there. It was iService, not iService collection. Yeah. Right. No. Get that using statement. Over here, do this. Give me that using statement. I need that one. Good. I need this one. And boom goes the dynamite. Why is the code lens hint jumping around? I don't know. Because it doesn't like us? I don't know. Let me go back over to terminal here. This is doing a test on a project that works for us. So I'm going to cancel that for right now. Let's go back over to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to set up another terminal here. I'm going to split this. Make this a little bit smaller so that I'm working over here. But on this side, I just wanted to build the web project here. So I'm going to do a .NET Watch build so that it's constantly building it as I change these files, just to make sure that I haven't done anything that's really out there and breaking things. You know what I mean? So check the Preview 6 repo branch to see how if they've done it. We can do that as well. Hey, good morning, Omar. Hello, Source Scoot. Okay. Or as extension methods to iService collection. That's another great way to do it as well. I could certainly, right, hang this off of it and say, right, I could do something like this. Well, that becomes interesting, right? Because instead of like that, I could say services. I feel like I would want the word Blazor in here, so that it knows that the folks that are going to be working with this later know that this is the Blazor authentication. You know what? Let's just rename this to Blazor authentication. Does that make sense, chat room? I like the idea of this as an extension method. That way it's kind of clear exactly what it's doing. Let's put a comment on there. Configure. That is weird that the code lens is bouncing. Configure Blazor. No. Configure authentication during the Blazor preview period. K&M Tavern. Thanks so much for the follow. Where is the K&M Tavern? Where can I grab a fine adult beverage at the K&M Tavern? Let me know. Return services. Oh, then I'm like, oh, fine. If I turn this around and make this return services, then this is going to be iService collection, and I can chain it together at that point, right? Oh no. All right, so let's make that the discard again. Right? I hate how far that's indented. Why is that indented like that? That's better. The build's running, and I expect to just see it be successful. If I had some unit tests written, I'd have it execute the unit tests over there, but there aren't any yet. All right, so now we have authentication configured and available throughout our application. Let's go back over to Michael and see what he says here. So we add server-side Blazor. We already have that built. We need to add the HTTP context accessor, add a scoped HTTP context accessor, HTTP client. I don't think we need the HTTP client, but we definitely we definitely need the HTTP context accessor. This will allow us to access the context and determine who the user is if the user is logged in from within our code. So we need that. Let's put that right here. Back that up. Get rid of this as well. Okay. I think that's what we want. I could do this with another underscore here. So we discard. Darn Skippy. Oh, whose words are hard as that? Hugo. Whose emote? Because that isn't Quiltoni's. That VI words. Nice. That violin check. Ah, okay. So our friend Quiltoni has a words are hard as well. And that one looks pretty cool. Alright. Hers are, it's orange, I think. It's a happy code lens. Bouncing up and down. Just like the icons in the tray for Mac. Right? The tray, the toolbar down here at the bottom. Right? Da-da-da. Okay, response compression. I don't care about response compression. We don't need to do that. It's already done for us, I believe. Alright, so configure. We need to set up the cookie auth code, and this bit right here is important. The doc, that's what it's called. Thank you. I don't need use MVC, but I do need the cookie policy static. Well, I don't need static files. And I don't need a HTTPS redirection. I think I just need the use authentication. I think. So let's go back over to our code. But I will make that call out. Yeah, see, HTTPS redirection. We've already got that. The routing is already configured. So he inserted use authentication before what would have been the routing. So here I will say use Blazor authentication. And we'll put we'll put that method. No. Over here. All right, public not strat, static. App is iApplication Builder. iApplication Builder, use Blazor authentication. We're going to take an iApplication Builder called app. Allow the injection of Blazor specific authentication configuration during the preview period. Okay. And this, I think, is actually going to end up sticking here, but it's app.useAuthentication. And return app. Done. All right. So now, I believe... Oh, I forgot to put a this in front of it, didn't I? To make it an extension. Yeah, thank you, Codebase Alpha. I appreciate that. It's magical. You put that this in front of it, and it suddenly looks like it's another method hanging off of whatever it is you put this on. Now, why isn't it? Use Blazor authentication. Go back over here. Use Blazor authentication. That should have worked. This application builder app. Right. Why doesn't it like that? Does not contain use Blazor authentication. Yes, it does. I just put it there. And in fact, it built properly over here. Go home, Visual Studio Code. You're drunk. Go home. Shoot. Shoot.
Oh my.
All right. So we know that works because it built properly over here. So now we have authentication set up and it's available as a service. Let's go back to Michael's page here. So he adds login, logout pages as pages within the server side project. So view imports, he brings in identity, brings in tag helpers. I think identity is a good one to add to our using statements here. So I'm going to grab that. I don't want terminal, I want Visual Studio Code. There we go. Go over to pages. So imports, this is how we do our imports now. I can also... Yeah, let's add that using statement right here. So everybody gets access to identity. I could add a shared component for the login, where we're going to have our login button and logout button. But I do need a login page and a logout page. So what I'd like to do is actually create an account folder here. And we will add a new file. This will be login.razor. And Michael does a real simple full page here that references a login model backend class, right? A backend class, a page model. So we'll have one of those as well because it'll bind to the various objects and do the post to actually confirm and log in. We're also going to need to be able to register an account at some point. That's going to need to be a thing. So, can I please share the docs link? The page that I'm using here is, let me see, let's do this. Yep, we'll go there. And I'm going to, yep, good. I'm going to pop out chat. Come on, give me the button. You're not going to make this easy, are you? Pop out chat. There we go. And I can get rid of this. That's the link that I'm working on. All right. There you go, Zerk. All right. So we're going to need this page model that has the various things that we're going to be submitting. We need the on get, we need the on post, so we can do that interaction back and forth. Should be pretty easy to assemble and work with here. And thinking out loud. Right, as a Razor page. Right, we're inside this hosted model, which does have the Blazor server here. This is going to pop us out of Blazor server mode. Right? No, we want to be in that. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's start doing this. How am I storing users in this project? Haven't gotten there yet, Zerk. Haven't gotten there yet. So, I don't need the entire login bit here. I will need a page and a model, of course. Page, and we're going to listen on, right, we're on account login, right? You have to put that at the top of these things so that it knows where you're going to. All right. Do I make them lowercase? Yeah, what's wrong with that for now? Model is going to be Fritz, resource management, web. No, Razor. Pages, account, login. Oof. Okay. I am going to just grab what's inside this main div because we're already inside of it. So this bit right here, let's copy, and we should be able to reuse most of this. Oh, come on. Come on, format documents. Nope. There, you stink. Tell me there is no Razor formatter. You make me sad. Phew. Fine, be that way. We're going to get all kinds of red underlines in here because Visual Studio Code does not understand Razor. I thought there was a thing for Razor, but I guess I'm wrong. So, all these. Yep. Now, it's referencing input.email, input.password. Those are from the behind model here. Input model called input. See, it's binding this property. So we're going to need to put that up. We're going to need to put that together. I don't want to open to side. I want to add a new file. And this will be login.cs. Namespace. Ugh, I wish this was a little bit easier. But I feel like I'm missing a tool here. I feel like there's something that I should have installed that I don't. No. Didn't want that. Login. And this is a page model. Right? It doesn't know what a page model is. Now it does. Don't know why I'm getting a red underline here. Already contains a definition for login. Alright, so let's call this login page model. How you like that? How you like that? Okay. That feels better, right? Now it kind of went away. But we'll end up storing users in a Postgres database using some of the standard identity configuration and storage. Eventually, you should be able to swap that out for OAuth and for Azure AD, those types of storage mechanisms, if you want to put it somewhere else. All right. Can I float an idea? Now that we're about halfway through the stream today, chat room, can I get your opinion on something? There's about 96 of you here in the chat room. I want to get your opinion. I want to get your feedback on something. I've got an idea. I've got an idea that was brought to me by our friend Ellie Face that I want to confirm. I want to see if you think this would be fun to do. Okay, ready? Ready? Hey, Ashish, good to see you. I say the words a lot here on stream. I press this button and you hear the words come out of the stream deck, and sometimes it's funny. It sometimes gets annoying. What if we had some sort of way to penalize me for saying "and then" too much? It is annoying, isn't it, Mike Eaton? It's annoying. What if we had a way to penalize me for saying it too much? Right? Do the thing. So what if we got something, maybe bean boozled, maybe something sour, something that doesn't taste perfectly well, and every time that the chat room, or maybe we set something up so it's listening and catches on when I say those words, I have to eat a bean boozled or one of those types of things. Don't do that to myself. Well, that's just it. It would be more funny than annoying. Okay, but I think it would be funny for a streamer to do the "and then" penalties, as it were. President not sure is down. You find it not annoying. Let me press it a few more times. You will. The 5 whys getting to the root cause of something. Well, that is true. And you find it useful. Is that a snake cat? No, that is the Cobra Kai logo. Look at that. Look at that. And you can see right through it now because I had to futz with the green screen a little bit and that yellow is picking it up. Yeah, the Cobra Kai. Right? Love the Cobra Kai. Get after that Karate Kid. And actually, on the back it says "No Mercy." Look at that. No mercy for our code. Your code is weak. There is no mercy. I do need an exclamation point hat command, Hugo. You like it? I think that is a pretty good one. So yellow with the black. It is. It's very nice. The Cobra Kai. Nice. Oh, and I need a G Fuel command too. Darn it. Now I do, but when I'm explaining something and defining it clearly, then it's fine. Ah. Thank you, Surly Dev. I appreciate you.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
He did. He threw me a frickin' bone. And we need to clean up the list of projects there on the top, on the ticker, so that it's just the current projects we're working on. All right. After raising 4 kids, repetitiveness was kind of a numbing experience. Easy for me to say. All right, let's build out this login model and the input model that goes along with this. Yeah, I'm gonna just grab these couple things here real quick because this does make sense. I don't mind grabbing what Michael's already got here for us. And let's learn from this. Let's customize it a little bit as need be. and build this out. So here we're bringing in an input model. This is the input, what we're going to be receiving, and what we need. Yeah, data annotations. Thank you. What we need in order to log in. You're going to log in with an email and a password. Makes sense. That's what's going to be keyed in. We're going to receive that and check to make sure that it's valid. So that's where input comes in. And you'll click a login button at the bottom here, and it'll get you logged in. Totally make it a drinking game. Get drunk every time I say.
And then?
Or maybe.
And then?
Don't let it get too long there. Right? Johnny 5 is alive. I know. Right? So that's a simple login page, right? I should put some sort of a header up at the top here, and it's trying to there. Right? We should put a little block up at the top here, so we can say view data title equals login to the application. Right? So that'll be carried forward, and it'll be available. And of course, it's going to be grumpy here because it doesn't know what view data is, because there is no Razor capabilities in Visual Studio Code. Let me just make sure I'm not... I thought they were doing something with this, but no, it's not here yet. Razor support, no. It's not here from Microsoft. So, and now I feel bad. Are you referring to
And then?
Surly Dev? Oh, I've got 6 of them. There's always more and thens where that came from. So now I have a login page. I need to wire up the various methods, the various events, so that it knows how to log you in, how to do that interaction. So on get, we're going to check to make sure that you are already logged in. And on post, we're actually going to create the claims and make those available. So let's go back over here, paste this in, talk about it, and start to simplify. Come on. Lots and lots of code. Good. All right. There we go. Get rid of that. We need to get a using statement for those. So if you're requesting and your return URL that you're going to is the root, you're trying to log in, we're gonna, well, hang on. If you're logging in and you don't have a return URL, you're gonna go back to the root. So first thing that's going on here is we're gonna if you come to the login page, we're gonna try and sign you out if you were already signed in. So let's get a control or a command dot there, get these using statements built. Good. If there's a problem signing you out, that's okay. Fail silently. That's fine. And we're going to set the return URL to whatever the return URL is. Let's create that property. Generate property. Good. Next. When you post, right? So post is when you click the button, the login button. Check to make sure that we have a return URL. This is where you would validate the user. This is where we're going to do some sort of a login here, right? Verify the password is valid and the user exists. But for right now, the way that Michael has it built, just to make sure that we get the sample working, we're going to always log in the user. And in order to do that, he's just creating a collection of claims here. Fantastic. So we need both the generic collection and we need the claims object. A claim is a security relevant piece of information, property about a user, right? In this case, we're defining 2 properties about that user that's logged in. Their name, and it's going to be their email address, And their role, we're going to give it the role of administrator by default, is how Michael's code works. Eventually, we'll have roles in the system, and we'll pull out the role that's appropriate, and we'll assign it here. But as a base here, just to get the application running, I'm fine with that. We'll clean this up in a little bit. What do you have there, Janescu? Blazor forms and validation. The Blazor gang's all here. Hey, the Freeze team. Is it? I don't know. Maybe. We're going to grab the claims. Create a claims identity for that person using the cookie authentication defaults authentication scheme. That's fine. And we're going to set up some authentication properties about that person. Yes, we do want it to persist. We're going to redirect back to the host. I think that's okay. We'll see what that does. Because that might be a little weird. Let's find out. All right, when we're done with all that configuration stuff, we're actually going to do the HTTP context sign-in. There we go. With the default authentication scheme, with a new claims principal. The claims principal, this is a user object. Okay? And we're going to pass the authentication properties to it, and we're going to do a local redirect to the URI, the return URL that was specified. Now, local redirect makes sure that after somebody logs in, they don't get redirected out to some other website. Make sure that those redirects all happen local to this web server. So, I can't... Let me see here. What's Janescu have there? Blazor forms and validation. Yes. Form is defined using the edit form component. Y'all. Handle valid submit. So we're going to actually have to change this up, aren't we? Rats. Because I'm doing this more Razor page-like. Is this Blazor server side or client side? Nah, we're going to need to change this. Okay. Look at this. Learn something new. Thank you. Alright, so it's got to be an edit form. We're going to have 2 input texts. Okay. I don't want to do this as a function down here. I'd rather have it in a page, in a code behind. A page model. I thought we could do this with a page model, can't we? Right, I thought we could have page models that go along with these. Component classes. Integrating components. Yeah, using components, component parameters. I thought there was a page we could do. Right, I thought we could have a model that goes with these, can't we? Data binding event, lifecycle methods. That binds to a value in there. Partial classes are coming in the next preview. Inherited code behind. You use component base. Base class inheritance. There we go. Inheritance, and it's a component base. Alright, there we go. That's what I'm looking to do. And then put the properties and methods over there. So let's do that. Let's change that. Right, so this is... So let's call this login component base. Component base. Which means I need a different using statement. Okay, good. Go back over to login Razor. So instead of model, it's at inherits. Okay. So we'll change this to inherits. And it's no longer login page model, it's now login Hey, component base. It knows that now. Okay. That feels better. Inherit from component base like the others are saying, or property injection to inject a model into your page. You only have to use inherited code behind if you're hooking up into lifecycle methods. I am, because I'm going to be doing that post. So this needs to be edit form is what I saw. Right? Which means this needs to be edit form. Is that Michael Frias? Michael A. Frias. Michael A. Frias? Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Okay. I think I'm all right there. So I need to go back. Not data binding. Well, it's going to be a parameter now. Inside this, right? Instead of bind property, this is now a parameter. Where I have on get and on post. Right? I have handle valid submit. Ugh. Well, that's on valid submit up here. Lifecycle methods. Right. On init async, on init, on parameters set async, no. On after render, set parameters should render. I want to get, yeah, I want to do on the post. Is there an override on, see on get, I need to, I want to make sure that you're logged out. Hey Lily Hazel, good morning. So if I override, what do I have to override here? No. No. Okay, on init, on parameter set async, and then there's all my snippets. So I don't see. Yeah, I think I need to wire up the event to this. So I think on get, shoot, wrong button. We're going to want this to be on init async, I think. And we're going to need to check to see if we're in get. Forms are not lifecycle events. Right, they have their own event. But let's see here. On init async. I want to receive the arguments that are being passed in on the route. I don't have a return URL that's being passed in on the route. Routing. Route templates. Route parameters. So I could specify that return URL as a parameter. And put it on the page like that. I have to run because doing a Blazor teleconference for the Microsoft Reconnect MVPs. Nice! I'm learning about Blazor myself right now. This is a great blog post, and we're kind of updating and making it work with server-side Blazor as we go along here. And then hopefully we'll have a nice application that has login capabilities here. Let's see here. So if we make that a parameter, then we have to specify it as a separate page with that route. Okay. So up here, I guess we would go at page Really? /account /login /return URL? Like that? Let's put a capital on that. Go back over here and return URL, which I think it, where did it stick it? Right, because we told it to create one of those. There it is. Right, this is a parameter. Yeah. Okay. And by default, it's going to be that. I don't want to make it a private set. We need to do this. Get our semi at the end here. No, that's not what we wanted. We didn't want that one. System security policy URL. No, 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 no. That needs to come off of the... Well, the component base doesn't have a URL. Right, it doesn't know... What do we have here for... Is there like a context or something we can take a look at and find that URL on? Don't see one. I see a bunch of event handlers. No. How do I like using Visual Studio Code for development up until now? It's not bad. I'm spoiled with the capabilities of Visual Studio 2019. If I had my choice, Visual Studio 2019. And I don't have HTTP context. See, this is going to get a little hairy here, because I need to force you to sign out. Another thing, we need to tell it where the login and logout features are, because if we look here, right, there's the cookie policy. Add authentication. There's a configuration for authentication that needs to happen. I forget exactly where it is, but you can tell it what the login and logout pages are. So that needs to be done so that it knows the names of those pages. But this doesn't exist inside of a component. You don't have HTTP context. You don't have access to this. Which is going to make things really interesting. Not component libraries. That's not where I want to be. If I go to forms and validation, no, I don't see it in here. Session and app state. Do I have it in there? No. Because that's not in Blazor. Just got a Stream Deck software update to 4.3. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's an update there. Because it now supports the new size Stream Deck that's available. So how do I get to the HTTP context so I know who you are? Right? Yep, there's an iPhone client for the Stream Deck as well. Let's see. No. Capture references to components? No. What do we have here? Nah. If it was a Razor page, then we're in good shape. Using SystemNet HTTP. See, that feels weird. Right? Use components with existing Razor pages and MVC apps. There's no need to rewrite existing pages or views to use Razor components. When the page or view is rendered, components are pre-rendered at the same time. Hey, M. Holloway, good to see you. So here's what I'm running into then. I could do this as a Razor. I could do this so that you log in and you're all on Razor pages. And once you're logged in, route you over to Blazor components. Let's see what Copper Beardy's link has there. Authentication and authorization, right. Login, registration, all that stuff. It's still open. It's not done yet. Was added to preview 2, required, needs design. Some thoughts from Brock. Azure AD B2C, configure DI. Add a normal MVC controller that handles all your sign in, sign out like you normally would. Add an MVC with the default route. Anywhere you need the claims principal, you ask for it with an @inject. That's not bad. That was the approach you took with the Silverlight app 10 years ago. Log in with ASP.NET Forms, forward the page holding the Silverlight app. Yeah. In which case I can use then the embedded then I can use the embedded capabilities of the identity, the ASP.NET Core Identity plugin, which would make things a heck of a lot easier, right? I'd be able to just reference that and be done with it. Robert McClaw's built something. Nice client-side Blazor auth example using identity. Let's see what we got there. It's client-side, but we should be able to adapt it to server-side stuff. But identity for Blazor is closed 3 days ago. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, this is in the docs. Ugh. It's in design and engineering. Hey, Robert Tables. Need to use user as a cascading values. Exactly, Lewis. Is it Robertables or Robert Tables? It's Robert Tables. Blazor with identity. Oh boy. Alright, so what's on the server? Startup. So there's configuring identity. Configuring the application cookie. We shouldn't have to add the response compression. I thought that was by default in there. Banifus, 1 year.
Enough is just resubscribed for 12 months.
That is so cool. Thanks so much for that resub. And we'll make another donation to Veterans Who Code. Eventually we'll get to use authorization here. Map default controller route. So you did add the controllers here. So this becomes an MVC application at that point. Look at the hype. Look at the raid defense. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. We're getting a raid. Look at that. Thank you, Matthew D. Groves. I appreciate that. Matt's another one of the developers on the Live Coders team. You can find out more about Live Coders if you check the link just below here. It's a group of about 45 developers that are broadcasting, writing code live here on Twitch, answering questions, and building some neat and thoughtful projects that you might be interested in. Welcome, Raiders. So good to see you. Look at all the gritty. Absolutely. We shall defend the channel. Thank you so much for that raid. Yeah. You can defend the channel with !defend, and we'll get the no gritties popping out there. You want that gritty sauce you saw on Twitter? That's from Dietz & Watson, local company here in the Philadelphia area. They also had bottles of Wooder. Not water, Wooder. It's a Philly thing. Excuse me. All right. So let's figure this out.
The _JK_ just resubscribed for 2 months. Oh hey, look, it is my 2 months.
There it is. Thank you so much, JK. I appreciate the resub. And we'll make a donation to Veterans Who Code. You know, I know it's going to be taking a step back here if we go and do this. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. The sub trains are rolling. Absolutely. You know what? I've been away for a while. We were away all last week. We were away for that week of build. We weren't on at our normal times. So it's kind of fun getting the subs coming back in. Yeah, I'm looking at this and thinking, while it would be a rollback of some of the work that we've done here today, I would be able to reference and bring in that identity package and use it directly, you know? Yeah, let's do the thing. Right? Do you agree with me, chat room, to go after this model and integrate back in the existing identity features? While we're thinking about that, chat, if you're not a follower of the channel, click that heart button up at the top just above the video here on the Twitch channel. Let us know that you're interested, that you enjoy what you're seeing here, and get notifications whenever I go live. Click that follow button and it'll increase our goal here. When we get to 8,000 followers, if we get there before September 15th, I will dye my beard rainbow for TwitchCon and .NET Conf at the end of September. That's right. I will be hosting the announcement for .NET Core 3 with a rainbow beard as a salute to you, all of our friends out there on Twitch. So let folks know, click follow just like Code Stencil just did. Steve will show up and greet you as a developer. And SnoopCat86. Thanks so much, SnoopCat. I appreciate you clicking through that follow button. We're going to cross 6,500. Glitter for the beard as well? I'm not going to commit to that yet. Michael Jolly did that, and I'm not going to commit to glitter. Our friend Imperial Girl really has a thing for glitter. I understand that yeah, the house is a mess with glitter. We will wear the Blazor blazer for that event. Absolutely, and we'll have it at TwitchCon. It's in my closet in the other room here. Anyways, I think we should roll back some of these changes that we started, that we picked up from Michael, and take this approach. This feels much better. Let's take a look at the project file here. See if it's referencing that identity package. It's using identity entity framework core here. But he's not using, they are not using the full identity package. But this should be referencing and bringing it in. Stash them, then redirect. Michael Jolly is still finding glitter in unusual places. Okay, that cut it off right there. We don't need to do that. While glitter is magical, I don't need that kind of magic in my life. Oh, I'm torn on how to do this. I'm really torn. If we look at the models, there's our application user. Yep, that's an identity user with a GUID ID. I'll go back in here. Data, application DB context, just as you would expect it. That's fine. Okay. So what does the client side look like? Or actually, hang on. There should be controllers here. Authorized controller. So this is an API endpoint. Ah. Okay. Allow anonymous to get to the login. This is the way we used to do it with MVC, not Razor pages. Register. Yep. Okay, user information. All right. So there should be... Right, there should be a view to go along with this, isn't there? No. Okay. So that controller is just returning these data points. And I'm guessing the client is formatting those. No, the Michael Jolly isn't here right now. Glitter when you get pets is a nightmare. Yes, Copper Beardy. Oh, dear Lord. That's not something that I want to deal with. Because I do have a dog. Alright. So if we do all these objects here, right, this is using... Right, this is a Blazor client-side project. Yeah. When it's running inside the browser. So I feel like this doesn't quite mimic what it is we're trying to accomplish. You know? Yeah, maybe a mod could drop that in there for you real quick. That'd be nice. Why isn't... Okay. Let's think this through. Ooh, I have a meeting at noon. Crumbs. Thank you, Robert Tables. All right, so let's back up. Let's think this through a little bit. The suggestion that's come in over here is to delegate to the existing user interface and pass that information back as a cookie so that server-side Blazor can interact with it. And this isn't as easy as I thought. This isn't something that we can just drop in here and make work. So we've been around, we've been going back and forth on this topic. And if we wanted to make the login a component like Razor, like Blazor.
Wow.
Yeah, Blazor. We can't do it as a component like this because we don't have access to the HTTP context. We won't have a way to write cookies back and forth. So that's a problem that we're going to need to solve by falling back to a full post and interaction, which means, yeah, MVC with controllers or Razor pages. Yeah, Razor pages. If I did it with Razor pages, we can not fail over, but we can use the embedded identity capabilities of ASP.NET Core. And quite frankly, I like the way that Razor Pages does it a lot better. So, what do we got there? AutoMod picked something up. I'm going to deny that, Douglas. Just because I want to stay a little bit family friendly. I want to stay a little bit family friendly because, and the way folks will use that term in the future will be a little bit questionable. Not a problem. No harm, no foul. It is a craft disease. It's like a craft STD. Yes. So this is this I believe was the same page that I was looking at, but zoomed in specifically on what Joseph was working on here. But add Razor components, add authentication. And here he's using, right, he gets the user. Stefan, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. 6488, woo. Right, so this is an MVC controller. We should be able to do this with a Razor page. And I think that's where we're going to pick up next time. You know what? I'm tempted to say, I do have to run. I have a meeting in 3 minutes that's starting. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these ideas from Joseph, cobble something together, and we'll come back and review it on Thursday. I think that's where I'm going to leave off for right now. Fortunately, we did these in a Git branch. So we can go through, we can commit these changes and just save it for later. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But we have something to start from, something to build on. And if we don't like it, we can roll it back, kill off the branch, and keep going. Started implementing authentication. This isn't an easy solution, an easy problem to solve, and clearly it's something the team is still working on. Thank you for the cheer. We'll make a donation to Veterans Who Code. So let me push out those changes. Yes, yes. I'm just going to copy that because I am... There we go. Push that out. Come on. Good. Fantastic. Cheers for the Mario music. Absolutely. Wrapping things up. Hey, Brave Cobra. You caught me right at the end of today's stream. Let's see if there's somebody that we can raid from the Live Coders team. Send everybody out there to take a look at. Is there anybody out there actively streaming besides me? Nope, just me right now. All right, we will look for another science and technology. Who else is going along here in the science and technology space that we can raid? You know what? I haven't raided these folks. And they're working on some serverless stuff. This might be fun. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to raid AWS. They kindly raided us a little bit ago. Let's set up that raid defense. Adrian, how am I doing? How do I stream from a Mac? I'm actually streaming from my Windows machine, and I have a capture card routing over. So we're gonna raid. We're gonna set up to raid AWS. If you're a subscriber, grab that first line of text with the raid bots. If you're not, that's okay. Grab the second line of text with the raid bombs, and we're gonna go check out our friends at AWS. We're gonna let them know, even though they're live, we're gonna visit. We're gonna say hi to those folks. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. I'll be back on Thursday evening. We're gonna write some code together, and if I have everything set up right, we'll actually be joined by some friends from the Visual Studio for Mac team. Even if they're not able to join us, I'll have some Visual Studio for Mac goodness set up for that evening as well. I'm going to set up to raid AWS. They do have a follower or subscriber only chat, so make sure you're a follower over there on AWS before you drop in those raid commands. All right? Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Let's click through that raid. All right, here we go. It's going to make me wait for this, isn't it? Have a good one, everybody. Take care.